Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Procrastinators Pit Stop. I am here with Toni Stevens. Toni is a healer and energy coach who empowers men and women to overcome childhood trauma, cultural conditioning, and mental health challenges by connecting with their inner spirit and transforming stress into calm confidence. Drawing on her lived experience and multiple certifications, ranging from NLP and hypnotherapy to EMPR techniques to Reiki and meditation, she has helped hundreds of clients find deeper self connection, raising both individual and global consciousness. Toni, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about today. Nervous,
Oh,
excited.
oh yeah. Well, I'm really excited about today too because it's been a while. We actually chatted. I think it was last year's, and so yeah, I'm excited. But before we dive into this, we do like to have an icebreaker on the show. And the question for you today is which fictional character do you resonate with the most and why?
So I decided on an Aes Sedai from the book The Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. It's one of my favorite series of books. Kind of like Lord of the Rings. The female heroines are like white witches. So they wield this amazing power, which I love the idea of. I'm doing, energy work, doing Reiki, like that's, if I could imagine myself doing that, that would just be amazing. Feels really powerful. That's who I want to be.
Well, and I like that. I like one. It's a very interesting reference. It's always good to see powerful characters that are wielding energies for good because I think we see a lot of the other way around. So I do like, appreciate a good one that's using it for good. So Toni, just sliding into the theme here a little bit easily. How do you define procrastination, and what does it mean to you personally?
So procrastination to me is, and I only learned this like a couple of years ago in my work, in my studies. I didn't know what it was before, but I learned that it is a fear response. So that's what it means to me, that there's something that's holding us back from doing what we need to get done.
And we all know that there's no one sort of cure all silver bullet or master secret to overcoming it. But what was your secret sauce to overcoming procrastination?
All right, so I'll use an example of like over the last year, I've been really procrastinating in my business, right? And a lot of business owners and, people who work for businesses can relate to the experience of procrastinating on something that they're afraid of. So I was procrastinating on doing my reels for my social media accounts, right? Because I didn't realize, but I had this fear of speaking. And so it's a really big deal for me to actually come onto a podcast and speak to people. It's a big deal for me to speak my truth in any situation, like even like with friends, with partners, with, clients, with, in business ways, like, speaking on reels and just being really like speaking my truth has and speaking out has been a really big fear for me. And so that's what I mean by it's a fear response, like for me. So maybe procrastination for other people is something different, but that's what has been my experience.
First of all, thank you for sharing that. Congratulations on getting out of your comfort zone and getting onto the show. Um, and that's a pretty normal fear. I mean, I used to call it the, look at me taking credit. No, it wasn't. I'm not the one who labeled it like this, but I've kind of taken the label and I call it the witch wound. It's that sort of fear of being judged. At least that's what I equated it to because
Yeah.
you're right. Speaking your truth or speaking up or putting yourself out there, that at least that was my biggest thing.
Yeah, I love that the witch wing. That's so perfect. Just to my mind, because I love fantasy, and I do really resonate with the witches in the past as well. It's been a big story that we've carried through in our world, in our history.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story? how did what was your journey to get to where you are today?
So I have always been very fascinated and interested in spirituality. So, I started in high school. I had an amazing religion teacher who was like a hippie lady and introduced us to meditation. And I just absolutely loved it. Like going on a journey, I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then being a teenager and dabbling in, like the drugs and things like that, having those experiences, I was like, I really want to do this, but I wasn't really into drugs. I was like, I want to do this naturally. So I became interested in meditation and channeling, and then I found Reiki in my early 20s, and I was absolutely blown away. I loved it. It just helped change everything about my perception of life, that and it made me feel more like okay to be me, because I felt so different growing up. And I think that was just because I was, very empathetic, and I could feel like the energy, I could feel other people's energy. And I was really sensitive, just really sensitive to other people's emotions and the vibe of a room and the energy around me. I really took that stuff on, which if you're a kinesthetic person, like touchy feely kind of person, like you do take that stuff on, right? And so there was no one there to teach me about feelings or energy, and what to do with all of that. Like when you feel so much and you feel really sensitive, it can be really, really overwhelming. So when I found Reiki, I think I was about 23. So it's been about 25 years now. I was just blown away. Like it just confirmed for me everything that I felt to be true about life, that we are made from energy, we are all energy, and we're all like connected and vibrating together, and we affect each other, and we have a certain amount of uh, you know we can bring our control, like our masterful energy, that we can have over ourselves and our own energy and our own experience, and delving really deeply into those hidden like parts of ourselves. When I was first studying Reiki when I was young, like there was a lot of that came up, and I was just blown away. It's kind of like that deep healing, NLP stuff that can come up, like those hidden memories, those hidden feelings and beliefs and thoughts and stuff. So yeah, it's just amazing. And then, on the flip side of that is then I was working in a office job, a desk job, in council, and I started experiencing anxiety for the first time. And so then like over the next, like, my life, those mental health challenges have come up again and again and again. So it's been something that I have worked with to overcome and manage those feelings and thoughts, right? So yeah, I was diagnosed with anxiety when I was about 23, 25, maybe something like that. Um, and I was offered antidepressants, and I said no, and that was about it. So I just started doing some research and just found that meditation really helped me. So that's I'm really passionate about meditation as well.
And thank you for sharing. Can I say I'm a little jealous of your high school teacher taught you meditation? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, mine was a hippie, but she went out to her car to smoke some ganja every now and then. But she never taught us meditation. I
Yeah.
think I'm a little bit jealous of that one. You mentioned something interesting to me, and I wondered, I wondered your take on it. I know it was a long time ago, but I wonder, and this goes to labels. So you said that they told you about the anxiety. I had a similar experience, when I was like 8 or 9. They said I was depressed, and then it was like all of a sudden, as soon as that label was there, it got so much worse. Did you find that the label had an effect on you, or?
Yeah, that's really interesting. No, mine is actually the opposite. Like when I understood like what was going on and what was happening, I was just able to like manage it. And I was kind of glad that, I knew what it was, because I was having really bad symptoms. Like I was having really bad nausea, gut pain. I felt sick constantly, and I was absolutely exhausted. So I would go to work, do my job, come home, and I just have to go to sleep. Yeah. So it wasn't very pleasant. So as soon as I found out, it was like almost like, "Oh, is that what it is? Okay." And then something needs to change.
And that's, I imagine, is that sort of when you left? Did you leave that job and then you
I
started on
did.
your career?
Yeah. I left the job. I left the relationship.
And when did you know that you really wanted to focus on being an energy healer and a coach? When did you know it was the right?
I loved it, but I didn't start at that time. I then like met my now husband, I was 25, and we started our own photography business because we both met at art school. So we started a photography business, and so we did that for 10 years, and he's still running it today. But then, got married, had 2 kids. And then when I had my second child, the birth, like being pregnant is this amazing experience. And it did bring on a lot of like, okay, this is, I want my life to be different. I really like need some spirituality, and I need to, there was just a calling for me to go back into my healing work because I loved it so much when I did it back, earlier in my life. So that was the turning point when I was pregnant with my son. Yeah.
And out of all the techniques, I mean, you mentioned we mentioned meditation, Reiki, hypnotherapy. What do you think is what is your favorite practice?
I love meditation because it's so accessible, and it's so, it's my daily practice. And it's what makes my life good. It's what makes my life beautiful and, easier, and feel empowered to be able to manage my own energy and my own mind. When I practice meditation, and I notice that when I don't do that, things definitely start to go awry. Yeah, so that's on
So
a personal level, and I love teaching people about it. I'm really passionate about that. So I always teach my coaching clients meditation techniques, and hopefully that they bring them into their lives for good.
do you have an example of a meditation tool that you like to impart?
Yeah, so I call it the emergency breath. If you are feeling really stressed or anxious and you are somewhere that you can't get out of, I call it just 3 deep breaths, like down into your belly, 3 deep belly breaths, right? And maybe there's some counting involved, maybe not. It might just be I'm just breathing in deep into my belly, and then I'm breathing out all of my stress and my tension. And it's just a really quick, like it can be just like 30 seconds. It can be 1 minute, like a spot meditation of just like, I can give myself 1 minute, right, to calm down and connect in with my body and my energy, because we often think when we're stressed and anxious, right, that we don't have time. And time is always a big factor that causes us stress, like time and pressure. So when I give people those really easy tools, like it's a 1 minute meditation, or it's a spot meditation, or it's the emergency breath, however, they like to call it. It's just you're allowed to take 1 minute for yourself to calm yourself down and to come back to center and to connect in with yourself. Yeah.
What do you think is the most surprising thing that you learned about yourself in meditation? Because we always hear about these big epiphanies that people did.
I think what I love about it most is that I can really feel a strong connection to spirit. So to like my inner spirit, to source, to God, to the universe, whatever you want to call it. But I feel that beautiful light and love in my heart. That has been just amazing, that beautiful connection. And whether you believe in whatever you believe in, you can believe in yourself, and that you have this energy, this light, this spirit inside of you that you can connect to on this really deep energetic level.
No, I like the way that you say that. It's just like the connecting to, well, source, God, universe, energy. Personally, I don't even go into like labeling it. Even just the only thing I notice is that it's funny how everybody says the same thing. Essentially, it's just we're using different words, and then we decide to fight over the words.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, I like I definitely like that. And do you find I know that we live in a different world now, but did you find initially any sort of resistance to meditation? Like when you were practicing, like I'm still blown away that you were, you know, you were experienced that in high school, but did you experience any resistance in when you were setting out and learning and trying to set up your business in that?
A resistance to what?
Resistance to the idea of meditation, or resistance to, I guess the idea. Was there any resistance to,
Absolutely. You're talking about from clients, from people?
yeah, from clients or even for yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah, both for myself and my clients. Yeah, like, I used to use meditation only as a tool and like as an emergency tool, or like, I really need this right now because I'm going to lose my shit and, I need to calm myself down, right? So I'd use it in those scenarios. And when I was younger, there was more like beautiful, I'm just meditating in nature because it's so amazing here and it feels so good. But then as I got older and I was like working more and became a mother, it was like, oh, I'm too busy. I'm just using this, as emergency because I know that it works. Right. But then over the last couple of years, I have had, some amazing, amazing teachers, my meditation teacher, my NLP teacher, my EMPR teacher, like, some amazing mentors, who just keep saying, like, you need to do the work. And this is the work, this is the inner work. It's like spending time every day on yourself to connect with yourself, to clear your energy out every morning, to call in, to bring in that energy that you want every day. That's the work. And so, yeah, over the last couple of years, it's been more and more and more. And now it's like every morning without fail. I have this daily practice. You got a daily spiritual practice, daily meditation practice, whatever, feels right. But it is like, my teacher says it's like brushing your teeth every morning. You're cleaning you're grooming, like you need to do that energetically as well. And it's so powerful. Like I feel different, I feel like life is good. Life is really good. And I just feel good. And if I don't do it, I notice it. It's kind of like moving your body as well, right? Because we need to move our body too. So that's one of the tools I use as well, is teaching people. You need to move your body. You can't just sit there and be stagnant, right? Your energy needs to move. It wants to move.
No, you said a couple of interesting things there. I know personally, I'm by no means an expert, and I don't really, I don't teach people meditation. But when I was first learning, and everybody kept telling me, do the work, do the work, do the work. I'm like, what is the work? Can you explain to us in maybe simple terms what does doing the work mean in that sense? Because
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that I don't have the words for it.
yeah, beautiful. So I have a process called the Artful Process. It's an acronym that I came up with. So A is for awareness. So it has been bringing awareness to what is going on inside of you. So using all of your senses, right? So we're using your feelings, your sight, your sound, your touch, your taste, your smell, and your mind. So using all of your senses, just taking that time to really connect in with yourself. So I do this as a part of my meditation practice as well. And it's like clearing your energy and calling in what you want as well. So the A is for awareness. So the first thing we do is bring awareness to what's going on inside of us. Thoughts, the feelings, any sensations, any memories, all of those things are problems, that are coming up for us that want to be released. They want to be solved. They want to be cleared from the body because they're bothering us, or else they wouldn't be there. So it's either this is a problem or this is something that we want, right? That comes up. So then the release. So R is for release and artful. So R is for release. So then once we have identified what the problem or the challenge is, or that icky feeling or that negative thought, right? Or that persistent memory, when we have identified that problem, then we can release it. And we can do this energetically by moving our body. So it can be as simple as breathing, because breathing is movement and it's bringing in fresh oxygen, fresh life force energy, like fresh chi. And so it's like can clear out, that's why breath work is amazing as well. It's just clearing out the old energy, and so that there's space for new things to come in, right? So if breathing is really powerful, and I do that every morning as my clearing process. Sometimes it might be super stuck. There might be something that's really stuck. Are you finding it really hard to get over, which is right, the work of a coach, right? That helps you like really release those stuck problems that we're facing. So if it's really stuck, you can move your body in other ways. So trying like different forms of movement, or expression, right? So it could be talking, singing, screaming, shaking, stomping, running, boxing, dancing, like however you move your body, however your body wants to move and release the energy from your body. Okay. And if you still can't shift it that day, then, seeking professional help, right? From like my coach and therapist. So the T is for being artful. The T is for transformation. And it's okay. I was feeling this way before, and now I want to feel this. Now I want to choose this. I want this to feel differently. So if I was feeling stressed and I want to feel calm, or maybe if I was feeling, let's talk about procrastination, I was feeling afraid and I, couldn't move forward and I want to actually achieve this goal, then we choose that differently. So, okay, I identified it, I released the energy, and now I'm transforming it. I'm choosing something different. And that's the moment of transformation, isn't it? It's like being able to choose something different for yourself. So whatever that, I just call it, it could be a decision. I like to say the energy, like calling in the energy of what you want. So it might be, if I've been procrastinating on this, I want to call in some motivation. I want to call in like some confidence. I want to call in some calm just to help me like really focus and get that job done. So that's what I want now. So that's what I'm going to call in now. And so in that practice, you can either, this process, so it's anchoring, right? So imagining or thinking of a time when you felt that energy before. So when did I feel calm? When did I feel confident? When did I feel motivated? And like just really bringing that memory back and allowing yourself to experience that time again. Maybe that time when, for me, like my most confident time is, I always come back to like year 12 graduation, and I was like dressed in this beautiful white dress and these platform shoes. And, I just felt like I was the bomb, and I'm walking on the stage and I'm like, yeah, like, so that's my moment of confidence that I remember. Okay. And I'm like remembering what that felt like in my body. So we call that, technique anchoring in, like bringing in that energy, calling it in again. I want to feel confident. What did that feel like again? I haven't felt that for so long. Right. So it felt like, my legs felt like really like springy, and I felt like my chest just really open and like puffy. And, I just felt like I was just, my head felt really clear and really expansive. Right. So just calling that memory in. And if you don't have a memory, right, just imagine using your imagination. What would that feel like? So then, calling that energy in and really allowing yourself to sit in that beautiful energy, that confident energy again, so that you can move forward. All right. So that's the artful process. And then the full is making sure that you're filling your cup with all the things that you need, to nurture and nourish yourself in your life. Right. Yeah.
I I really like that. No, I'm gonna have to remember that, or maybe come back to this and write it down. Actually, you know what? We might write it in the show notes so that we can come back to it and reference it. That probably be a better idea. You mentioned something interesting when you were just going through that. I wonder what your thoughts were on this. When you were talking procrastination, you're talking about this fear of moving forward, and then you said another word. You said motivation. Now, I don't know. This is something that I've noticed. I don't know if it's the same. I don't know. I'd like to hear your take on it. When I talk to people, or when I talk to myself, I notice motivation. It's like I'm fighting fear with fear. because my motivation, and I've noticed this in other people, motivations always seem to stem from fear. So for me, it was always better to do like an inspiration because that comes from like a place of joy. Am I barking up the wrong tree there, or what do you think?
No, I love that. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Because we want that. We want that goal. We want that thing at the end of the rainbow, the path. Don't we? So that is the inspiration. That is the motivation. I think they're the same words, just a different, just you might like a different word. So yeah.
Okay. And here's another question I'm sure that you hate from clients, but I think we do need to go there because I remember myself too. How long before you can start actually noticing a difference with meditation?
It's going to be different for everyone. Some people will notice a difference straight away, depending on how anxious or stressed you actually are, right? So people who are really like anxious and they're having panic attacks and they're going through like, all these physical symptoms and the negative, paranoia and negative thoughts and stuff, like they're in a really bad place, right? So for them, meditation is going to be really, really, really difficult. And there's going to be a lot of fear around that. And they find it really hard to trust people. So, there's that level of, people really resisting change and doing the work, right? They need relief and they need it now. And they might not even be willing to even try it, right? Some people, maybe they just want a quick fix. Maybe they just want like, a pill from the doctor and like make me well because I'm losing my mind. I'm out of control. I'm not in control. And so they have this real victim mindset, don't they? That they are not in control and that they can't master themselves. They just can't. Like they can't even think of doing that for themselves. Maybe they've never been shown how to do things for themselves or, make their life better, or make their own decisions or, have faith and trust put in them to, you can actually do things. And there's all those kinds of things that play out. But that's like, extreme example. But a lot of people are stuck in that state, especially when you first get diagnosed with anxiety or depression. Like you're in a really, really stuck state. So the idea of sitting down to meditate is just like, and there can be a lot of resistance and fear around actually like going into the mind because there's so many negative thoughts and feelings that come up. Like I know for some people it's been like, oh, I can't close my eyes because I'm just so bombarded, with thoughts and feelings. It's overwhelming. It's terrifying. I don't even want to look at that. And so there's no peace there. Sorry, did I answer your question?
No, no, no. You answered the question. Thank you for that. I'm curious as well. Especially if people say that they don't want to be alone with their own thoughts. I was one of those for a while. Didn't really want to sit with my own thoughts. But how do you see? And just going back over your artful, how do you feel that kind of, I guess, mindfulness fits into meditation as like either a side by side or in conjunction with kind of practice?
Yeah, I think meditation is the practice, and I think mindfulness is the outcome. Some people would argue that, but that's my take on it, that we, if we practice training our mind and training our body, because that's what meditation is, right? It's this form of training, building that mind muscle. And yeah, being mindful I find it's the outcome. It's like I can be more present, I can be more mindful, I can be more in the moment if I do that task. But some people would say mindfulness is a practice in itself, but I just think it's just another form of meditation, right? You could say it's like walking meditation, like washing the dishes meditation, right? I'm just focusing on this one task.
And what do you say to people that maybe want to practice meditation, but there's a busy mother, maybe she's got two kids, they're always running around screaming and yelling. Or maybe you've got a student who's trying to, get into the practice, but there's no quiet space. Do you have to have a quiet space?
Preferable, isn't it? We've got headphones, so that's always useful. Look, I think it's really important that you make the time. Somewhere in your day, there is a moment, 5 minutes is what I say to my coaching clients, like you can do 5 minutes a day, right? Even if maybe you're sitting on the toilet, because a lot of mums, right, they don't want to give themselves time because they'll feel guilty that they're not with their children. Okay. So I experienced that myself, and like taking time for yourself was like, oh, can I do that? Am I allowed to do that? I have this child to look after, but there comes a time when there is someone else there to hold them or to look after them or to entertain them. So even, a lot of moms go to the toilet, right, to get some peace, which is sad, right?
It's not sad at all. I mean, people laugh at me or tell me I'm gross, but I mean, like, my happy place is the bathroom because nobody's interrupting me.
That's right. So, you know, finding yourself, like I just go into my bedroom if it's like too like cold or windy outside, but I much prefer to sit outside. I just think, connecting with nature is just so beautiful when you meditate, and so healing, right? But yeah, I would just go and sit on my bed. But I do have a space set up in my lounge room as well, like a little, kind of like a little altar, like a little, it's just a coffee table. And I've just got like, cards, a crystal, like a little, drum thing. But, that's where I would sit if no one was home during the day, like the kids are at school and it's cold outside. Like I have a space where I can sit and meditate. Yeah.
You mentioned something interesting there too. Do you engage, being working with energies, do you engage also in grounding along with your meditation?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I love grounding. It's like this free healing, isn't it? It's like this beautiful free healing energy that we can get from the earth. It is one of my favorite things. I love to teach about it. Yeah, like, the earth vibrates as, like, 8 hertz. And so it's that energy, that space where we go into deep relaxation. It's like that deep relaxation, meditation, hypnotic, energetic energy that the earth is there. It's just giving it to us all the time. And so when we're spending time in nature or connecting with the earth, we're just, it's this beautiful healing energy that is available to us for free. And I love telling people that. But again, it's one of those things of like doing the work, right? If I'm going to go and lay out on the ground or sit out on the ground or, do that grounding work, like, am I allowed to, am I giving myself time and space to do that, to relax?
So is it always about relaxing though, or is it just the fact of having that connection? Is that enough, or do you have to be with the intention that you're going to relax? Because I can tell you right now that there's many of us wandering around there that are just, full on almost basket case, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'll go out and sit on the grass and maybe I'll be in nature, but I don't know if I'm going to be too focused on trying to be in that moment right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So yes, it is about the connection as well. Giving yourself permission to open, to receive that healing and that energy and that relaxation. And yes, we can be resistant to it because we have these ideas that we need to be doing something all the time. We need to be busy, we need to be achieving, we need to perform, and that's how that's how we get our validation, our acceptance, our love, whatever it is. Our body needs to be in rest and digest mode, in the sympathetic nervous system mode to function efficiently. And if we're not, if we're in stress response in that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, the parasympathetic nervous system, if we're in the fear response, our body is not functioning at 100%. And so this is a part of the education work I do with my coaching clients as well. That's so important, that if you are stressed, you are not functioning at 100%. Okay? Because you're like all of your blood and your oxygen and your energy like leaves your brain and it leaves your digestive system and it goes to your heart because, it wants you to fight, flight, like freeze or fawn. It wants you to, do that. Our brain isn't functioning. And that's why when we're stressed, we can get brain fog, confusion, we can't make decisions. Then we start doubting ourselves. We start like not trusting our body because it's coming up with these weird symptoms of like being stressed out. So, being in a relaxed state normally every day is where we function efficiently. And it doesn't mean we're not motivated. It just means that we're living our best life.
No, I like that. We are human beings, not human doings.
Yeah.
Not my saying, but I like it. I like saying that
Yeah.
quite a bit. It's been a really great conversation, Toni. A lot of great insights. We are coming up pretty close to the time. Is there anything that you wished I would have asked but didn't ask, or anything you feel we should have covered but didn't?
So I just want to quickly talk about that fear response again. Because the work I do with my EMPR work, the emotion memory pattern release method, is like trauma release. So working with people who've experienced trauma. And so when we have those big impactful moments in life, and they can be big traumatic events, right? There's abuse or, an accident. But they can be really small things as well, right? They can be, when I was young, like my mum told me off, right? I got told off by a caregiver. And that was a really impactful moment. Or it could be I fell off my bike, or, I was really scared. I saw something, or, I had a fight with my friend, right? Or I was bullied at school. Like all of these be like impactful moments, right? That happen when we are young or when we're adults that are considered, I consider them low level traumatic events in our lives. They're just an event, right? But a different level. So they're an impactful moment. And in that moment, and this is a work that you would do with your coaching clients as well, is, we look at like, okay, when we're working with a problem, all right, or a challenge, well, we look at the thoughts and the beliefs and the memories behind, the reasons behind why we're actually feeling that. So we delve in to those things, our thoughts and beliefs. And there's normally at the end, there's some kind of memory, right? That we're this time when we had this impactful moment, it was so impactful on us that we had a really strong emotion. And then in that moment, we had a thought. And then in that moment, we created a belief about ourselves or about the world or about other people, right? That we can carry with us for the rest of our lives. Right. And so it's really important to do, and this is part of the work as well, right? Like looking at all of those patterns and programs that we've been conditioned with from our childhood or our past that now cause us to have these beliefs about ourselves or these feelings. And so this is a part of doing the work as well, right? Because they might be conscious patterns, or I know that I'm afraid of this, or they might be unconscious and we just don't have any knowledge or understanding of why we have this problem. And so that's the work that, we coaches do, is help people like really identify like the root cause of those problems and help release and resolve them. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the coaching work that I do with people and healing childhood trauma and helping people with those mental and emotional struggles.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, thank you so much for being on the show. It's a real pleasure having you, Toni. Just before we go, what's the best way for our listeners to get in touch with you, to reach out and learn?
On my website, tonyshealingroom.com.au. Yeah, and I have some free resources on there that people can access as well. They have an amazing emotional freedom workshop that I run a couple of times a month, and it helps people really understand their emotions and their energetic knowledge point of view, understanding. And I have a grounding workshop as well, which is about awakening your chakras, your energy and your body. And also some other free resources on there, like, an anxiety toolkit. Yeah, on there too. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much
much.
thank you so much for sharing that, Toni. And to all our listeners, don't worry about grabbing a pen and paper. We are going to have that in the show notes. It'll be easy for you to find. And again, just thank you so much for tuning in. And just remember, if you can't find that motivation or inspiration for yourself today, maybe just go out and try to be that motivation and inspiration for someone else. And we'll see you again next time.
Nice. Thanks so much.